You know, there's nothing like cracking that cellophane and pulling that record out. It just smells great.
Welcome to BODS Mayhem Hour.
Non-stop hardcore energy.
I love the show, guys. You're awesome.
Unlike any other.
With your host, John the Bod, a.k.a. the Bod Father.
Man, this stuff rocks.
This is OD from Zeistencroix, and you're listening to BODS Mayhem Hour.
The views and opinions of the guests do not necessarily reflect the views and opinions of BODS Mayhem Hour, its staff, affiliates, or sponsors. Parental discretion is advised. Welcome to BODS Mayhem Hour.
Hey everybody, welcome to BODS Mayhem Hour. I am your host, John the Bod, aka the Bod Father, and as always, I bring you guys and gals awesome interviews. But before we bring our guest on, I need you guys and gals to do me a huge favor. Huge. Just go to YouTube, type in BODS Mayhem Hour, click the subscribe button and the notification bell to keep up with anything and everything that I'm doing, because we got a lot of great stuff coming up, and you'll see me screw up on names and all that stuff. It makes it fun. But anyway, please do that for me, because I really need that subscription and bringing all these awesome interviews for you guys and gals out there. Today's guest, I should say, on the podcast is vocalist Orlando Draven of Zeistencroix. Got it right that time, my friend. Zeistencroix. Zeistencroix will be releasing their new EP titled Cruix-Fixion via Pavement Entertainment. Also, check out their video and single entitled Ice Queen. I could definitely say that correctly. So, Orlando, welcome to the podcast, my man. How you doing?
I'm good, man. How about you?
Doing awesome. I'm trying to feel like I'm back in like Rosetta Stone stuff, trying to figure all this stuff, some of these names out. It's like, okay, what are you doing? But anyway, glad to have you on the podcast, man.
So good, man. I mean, it's been a while. I mean, we've been kind of busy recording and doing all this stuff. So it's a pleasure just to have a little bit of time to talk about it.
How excited are you to release the single Ice Queen and EP Cruix-Fixion? All this stuff, man, it's going to come out here very shortly. How excited are you guys about all this?
Well, I mean, we started with the signing of the label, because we got to deal with the label after we finished the last tour. And then we started to think about the next move, which eventually would be, of course, release more music. So we had a couple of songs and started writing a little bit more. And then we end up doing an EP because we thought it was right just to do not a full-blown album, because I mean, nowadays it's kind of like it's a hit or miss. I mean, you can have a lot of songs and everything, but the attention span is really short. So you kind of want to not only give your best, but only just to keep people interested. So the EP would be kind of like the best way to do it, right? So when we decided to do the EP, it was just like, okay, so we're gonna do not only the best that we gotta or that we can, but something that actually makes sense for us at the moment. So we went and recorded the entire thing, and that's where we are right now.
A lot of bands, and we've talked about this a lot on the podcast from each musician to each band, that the EP route is the way to go right now, and or just releasing singles and then go from there. But it's so sad, man, that everything is now just like you said. Hey, what have you done for me lately? Pretty much, you can put something out in a week, in like a month's time, somebody else going, man, I ain't putting nothing out in a while. What do you mean I just put something out like a month ago? The attention span is like 0.2 seconds nowadays.
Yeah, it's kind of hard, but I mean, you gotta adapt with the times. It's unavoidable. There's something that you can try to fight it, or you can try to go all idealism and everything, or idealist, try to be the one that's gonna do the long play and everything, and do the right thing in your mind. But that doesn't mean that everyone's gonna join in. That doesn't mean that it's gonna change anything. So what I think, and that we think, usually whenever we talk and we have a band's meeting or anything, it's just like we try to make what's right for us at the moment or at the time. Mm-hmm. So you try to do the things that you feel comfortable with, and not only that, it's just like the stuff that make you happy, because in the end it's about finding the balance between being happy and doing what you like, and at the same time kind of following the rules but not really, because I mean you're adapting. That's what you are. You're not really following the rules, but at the same time you're within the guidelines,
Sure.
and then that's what you're trying to do. So but in the end it comes down to really doing what you like, really doing what you feel is right, what you feel is is a way to go. So that's pretty much it in that regard.
Now you guys signed with Pavement Entertainment. How did that come about, and how's it feel, man, to be on a label?
I mean, it's great. I mean, we were in another label. We were in a European one before, and then in 2019, and we went to Europe, and we were touring and everything. And then we actually were in a weird place, and it's kind of like crazy because we were in Ukraine. We were in the Baltics, and then we were in Ukraine before everything happened. I mean, the war was going, but wasn't really that bad.
Mm-hmm.
So we were there, everything went fine. We were, planning on doing more stuff. We had a US tour booked, and then COVID happened. So COVID happened. It was just, everything kind of went south real quick. Everything closed down. So we had to kind of like readapt and rearrange all the plans that we had. And with that, the label, the years that we had with the label went completely out, because it was 2 years of the pandemic when. So we were trying to find a new home, but this time in the United States, so we can be local and start doing our stuff here, not necessarily going to Europe, because I mean, even though we had a blast and it's awesome, with the travel constraints and everything that's going on, we didn't know exactly what's going to happen,
Yeah.
And we still don't, because I mean, you have people touring, but it's kind of hard. It's just a mess. It's all over the place. So we decided to do something more local. So we got with Pavement, and then we started with the deal, and then that's how all became into what it is right now.
What led the song Ice Queen to be the first track released off this EP, man? What was it about it that said that's got to be the first one that comes out swinging for us?
Because it was a different one. I mean, the thing with Ice Queen, it was that I wrote the song, and it was like the real weird one-off that I've never kind of written before, or the style that I never actually written before. So I said, okay, so we have something that's kind of special. It's different. It's gonna be pop rock. I get it. It's not really I'm not gonna say our genre or our style, because there's not such things. At least for us. I mean, we can play whatever. We can play heavy. We can play slow. We can play really metal. We can play really, I don't know, probably jazzy, or it could be, I don't know, more electronic, or it could be anything, right? But in this case, it was different. It was more like pop rock oriented, more like a different thing. So we had all these heavy songs on the other side, and then we had Ice Queen that wasn't really dark, or wasn't really the cliche industrial goth or anything like that. So it was like, okay, so if we have this one that is a one-off, why don't we try this one? Why don't we give it a shot? So that's how it became about, and then we got a lot of people involved. We started recording with Alex. We had a lot of discussions, a lot of conversations, and then we went with Tim Palmer, because we thought it was the main guy just to treat the song how it's supposed to be treated. The one that's gonna give us the shape and the form and the sonic palette that we were looking for. Because it's something like, again, we're still talking about doing stuff our way and doing stuff on our terms. Even though the label, we have a fairly amount of creative freedom, so we were trying to do something different. So because again, the song called for it, so that's how it became the single of the album. And said, okay, you know what, let's do it, let's do this, let's get with this.
But writing all these heavy songs, man, doing this one-off song, was it like a breath of fresh air for you, man, to write this?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, it was something different. So it felt like, okay, we can experiment with this. We can do something different with this. I mean, we can run with it. Of course, it comes with the novelty of being fresh and new and different. But again, at the same time, it's an experiment. Because I mean, for us, it's just something that we've never done before. So we'll see for us.
How long have you guys been setting on these songs up till now? Are these all like brand new songs out of COVID, or were these written during COVID?
Actually, it was towards the end.
Okay.
Because I mean, Ice Queen, we wrote it like I would say I started writing on, I would say the end of 21. Yeah, more or less towards, I believe, between October and November. So that's how it was. Same with Control, same with Howling Wolf. Howling Wolf actually was written between my guitar player and me, and then he sent me an idea that he had before, and then I started messing with it and arranging and doing some stuff, and then that's how that song came about. And Lux, or Between Your Legs, is the one that I started writing it, and then we got together and we finished it together. And then We're Already Dead was a song that I had, or I believe I wrote it in August. So yeah, it was towards the end of the pandemic. It wasn't exactly during the pandemic, because we were kind of busy. We were active on the pandemic because we toured on 21. We did a couple of dates of spring, last spring. So we've been trying to do something, not only write, because I mean, in the pandemic, everyone was writing, everyone was trying to canalize all these feelings and the anxiety and the lockdown kind of cabin fever craziness. So I didn't want to do that, because I wanted to do something different. I didn't want to do and follow the trend, like, okay, now it's time to write and blah blah blah. So we were like, no, let's try to keep busy, let's try to keep pushing as much as we can. So we try to play as much as we could. We did. That's technically what we did. So after that, when this deal came about, so we said, okay, well, we have some songs, we can do something. Now we can actually focus on actually finish writing and recording and releasing.
Mm. Orlando, any tracks that did not make this EP we could see on another album or an EP down the road from Zeistencroix?
Yeah, it could be several. I mean, because the way that I write and that we have is we have a batch of bunch of songs. Could be ballpark between 15 or 20, on a regular basis. It could be probably more or less, but around that number, right? So on this EP, what we did is just we went through the songs that we had, and then we'd rather do just the new ones that we just wrote. Because I mean, it felt right. Like, okay, you know what? Let's do something that is kind of different. We're not gonna go through the batches of songs that we already have. It's just like, let's see what's the newest stuff that we have. So we selected these guys, and then those are the ones that are on the EP. Regardless, we still have some that we consider to put on the EP, but I mean, they were left out, not or we didn't finish them because we felt like the other ones were the ones to go with. So yeah, I would say like between 5 or 6.
I know these are your babies. I know these are like your children, your favorite dog that you have, or cat, whatever. But any track standing out more to you than any right now on the EP, man? Because I like I said, I know this is going to change from time to time, but do you have any that stick out for you personally?
Right now, yeah, because it's like you said, you got all your babies, and then you got to let it grow and go on their own. But I mean, to me right now, I would say that Control is the one that is the one right now. That's the one that's like my favorite, that might be.
Mm-hmm. Was there a track that you were working on that totally ended up sounding different than it was intended to? Was there one that was brought to the table that just changed, or maybe changed a little bit, and then that was it?
I believe that all of them. I mean, at some point, because I mean, the way that I approach music and that I've been trying to get together with the guys is that you write, right? But whenever you write, you don't write something that's gonna be definitive or is gonna be the one and only that's gonna stay the way that you did it originally. It always tends to change because of a recording, because of another member that brings something to the table, or depends on many things. And what happened with this album, it was the same. I approached it on the way that I was saying, okay, I'm having this batch of songs. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna let it go, and I'm gonna, let's see what's happening or what's gonna happen with the incorporation of every single member. And not only that, it's just also the producers and engineers, and all those people that makes the song what it is. So what we did is that's exactly how I did it. So for instance, Control started really electronic, and then in the end it became, I would say like a metal banger or something like that ended up being in the album. I mean, I kind of expected to be that way, but I didn't have any, ideal way how it was gonna end up being. So I just let it go, just let it, develop by itself, and see what's going on or what was gonna happen. And that's exactly what happened. With Ice Queen, it was more of the same. Whenever you work with somebody that that has the caliber and the musicianship and the talent that Tim Palmer has or that Alex has, you kind of have to let them do the thing, because that it's going to benefit the song in the end. On the long run, then it's not going to be exactly the way that you wrote it, or it's not going to be exactly. It could be some changes, some nuances here and there, or like different stuff, but in the end it's always going to benefit the song, because those guys, they know what they're doing, they're really good at what they do. So it's a collaboration. That's what you do. So that's how you need to approach art in general. If you're going to collaborate with somebody, you got to let it happen.
Yep.
That's it.
Now, Ice Queen, like you said, was produced and mixed by Tim Palmer, who you've worked with before. And plus the mighty Alex Christiani, because Alex is just phenomenal, man. The dude is a badass in the recording studio and musician. But working with Tim, though, does he get something out of you guys that maybe somebody else might not have gotten? Orlando, working with you all before, possibly? I mean, what's the comfort zone that you have with him working on this?
It's just like every time that I work with Tim, that we work with Tim, is first, it's always a pleasure. And second, I kind of, because of his work, right? The body of work that he had and that he has is so good and so extensive and so interesting that you don't know what's gonna happen. You kind of have he could go either way. You have no idea, and it's kind of like a gambling, like a roulette, which is actually a great thing, because it's just like it's what you want. It's just you want the excitement to see something new, to see what's gonna happen, what's gonna end up with. And with him, it's just like he has I believe that he has this mindset, this mentality, and this talent to turn whatever you give him into something not only better, but something more interesting than what you originally gave him. And that's exactly the reason why we always go to him, because he's like I said, he's a very, very talented guy. So he has a vision, and I love to work with people with vision, because it just complement what you have. And then what we did this time, I wanted to give him the bare basics of the song. So we gave him the bare basic, just stripped down song. So Tim, this is all you. Do whatever you want with it. You can change it, move it, extend it, cut it, do whatever you want. And it was really interesting. It was awesome, as usual.
Is this your first time working with Alex Christiani?
No, I always work with Alex. I started working with Alex on, I'm not sure, I think it was 15 or 14, 2014, 2015, more or less. Yeah, so we've been working for a while.
I was working with Alex on this also.
It's awesome, because with Alex it's really easy. With Alex, it's another really talented person that has a great vision, a great ear, He has a great criteria when it comes to pick and choose. I mean, either tracks or parts or whatever you have to work with at the moment. And it's really awesome because I trust him. He's probably one of the people I trust the most every time that we're in a studio. So whenever we work together, it's awesome. I mean, I love working with him. It makes it easy.
What's the growth musical you've seen from yourselves working on this new EP versus say 2019's album Gen Z, man, especially working on this new song that's took you out of your comfort zone of creating heavier stuff. What's the musical growth that you've seen from yourselves on this one, especially, if anything?
Well, yeah, a lot of stuff. I mean, it's just the way that we arrange songs now. It's different because I mean, now we have Jackson, we have Akopan playing guitar with us, and he's been playing with us on and off for a long time. Which is that we never had the time or the chance just to be on the studio together, just to build and create new songs. So the stuff that he brings to the table are fucking unbelievable. They're really good. So it's just the way that he arranges the songs, the way that he brings, the parts that he brings, and the ideas that he comes with on the fly whenever we're recording, they're really, really, really good. So it's a growth there for sure, because I mean it's a new piece that's added to the original puzzle, and then also that I see arranging the songs for me, I mean personally, differently as compared to what I used to do in Gen Z. And like I said, I've been trying to approach music and everything artistically differently from what I used to. So I'm trying to just not have that much control, but let whatever's going to happen. So I try to come with a blank palette whenever I show up to the studio, so we can see what the parts involved can contribute with. And that's exactly what we're trying to do. And I believe that's a growth, because I mean it has to be. Then you kind of let go to what you think is going to be, or what your conceived or preconceived notion of what you should have the song come about, and just let the baby grow.
Sure.
And that's technically, what you do. And that's how I consider that it's different. Everything, it was more collaborative.
What do you hope everyone takes away while listening to this new single or this EP or just Zeistencroix's music in general, Orlando? What do you hope they get from it, my man?
Well, it's just, I don't know, because I mean, the way that I see it, everyone, I have my opinion or my take on it, but I mean, everyone should have their own. It's just about, developing your own opinion and your own feelings and your set of experiences around the music that you hear, not only with us, with everything. I mean, you hear the music, and it has to be free. It shouldn't be guided. Like, okay, so this has to be about this, or this has to be about this, or this has to be about this. It has to be, free, like I said. And that's why I kind of don't like to get involved too much into the perceptions or even the concepts about it, because it's just, to me, it's different. I created it. I have a set of feelings and a set of experiences when I was on the process of doing it. And then everyone else is going to have their own process, and it's going to mean something different to them whenever they encounter it. They're listening to it. They're doing something, whatever it is. That's why I kind of like always, kind of back away a little bit of, giving.
But that's the beauty of music, my friend. What you write and put into these lyrics, somebody else can take it and totally end up using it as their own anthem and totally be a different meaning than what the song is actually about. And that's the beauty of it.
That's exactly what it should be. I mean, that's art. That's how it should. Because I remember, or the way that I see it is just whenever you're encountering art, it has to be based on you. Mm-hmm. It has to be personal. It has to be on your experience. Because in the end, anybody that does art, they just put that art out in the woods, so to speak. And then whoever picks it up, it's gonna be theirs, and it's gonna become their experience, their own, feelings.
Yeah.
And it's personal. It's really personal.
I know when you were growing up and plus into your adulthood, I know that you had a lot of music growing up, my man. But do you still have a go-to album or a song that you find yourself going back to and listening to from time to time? You've got to go back and listen to it. You just cannot kick it out, man.
Yeah, it happens with dance at least. When and to me, it's gonna be always the Pitch Mode, Nine Inch Nails, and David Bowie. Those are gonna be the ones that go back every time. It doesn't matter the mood or what's happening or how old am I or whatever. It doesn't matter. It's just something that I'm always going back or trying to pick up. And then every time it's a new experience. Every time.
Feeding off of the vibe of the fans at a live show for you, does it still have that same feeling today as it did that first time playing a live show?
Probably more intense, actually, right now. It's even a little bit more intense. But all the stuff that's been going on with the last couple of years on the COVID and the pandemic and everything, now I believe that everyone, well, doesn't necessarily has to be everyone, but I think that most of the people understood that you cannot take stuff for granted.
Exactly.
So whenever you go to a live event, whenever you go to a gathering, I believe, and this is how I see it, it should be even more intense and more involved into the experience, because you don't know when it's going to be taken away again.
Yeah.
And this is something that everyone should kind of like understand and see, that every time that you go to a show, every time that you go to a fucking, I don't know, a theater, or every time that you go to a cinema, every time that you go to a gathering of people, that you're socializing with people. I mean, it's fine and great when you're able to do this that we're doing right now, but it's not the same as when you're in the same spot, in the same place with a bunch of people that you can connect with, and that you can see, that you can touch, that you can feel, that you can, interact person to person. And I know that a lot of anxiety is being building up onto this, digital world that we're creating and we're already created.
Yeah.
Where everyone rather be, 6, 7, 5, 10, 9 feet away, or they'd rather be on a stream. But at least to me personally, I'd rather be in front of somebody.
Yeah.
And you make that experience, probably spiritual, because you don't know it's something, it's there, it's chemistry, it's physical, it's physics also. So whenever you're in a show, whenever you're in a live event, like I said, to me, it's even more intense. So when we're playing, it's more intense because you can see, you can feel the energy. It's also about the energy, what you see, what you feel, what you perceive in either on stage or on the other side of the stage. Is the interchangeable emotions that you carry whenever you're playing a show. So yeah, for me, it's way more intense right now, because I mean, you cannot, you're aware.
And you hit the nail on the head right there, man, when you said we're not guaranteed anything. The only thing that we're guaranteed is death, and that's crazy. That's the only thing that we're guaranteed. So when these bands come through, go see them. I don't care if you've seen them 15,000 times. If that's your favorite band and you can go to that venue and watch them, go to it if you want to. That's totally your choice. But I'm just saying, like, for me, I want to see Halford. I want to see Danzig again. I would love to see Ozzy again, but I know that's probably never going to happen for Ozzy, but I'm just throwing it out there. If you have these opportunities that you want to see these guys who have paved the way for bands like Orlando's, podcasters like me to want to do this, go see these folks, because we're not guaranteed 15 minutes from now or tomorrow to even see the light of day. So I preach that a lot, and I support anybody and everybody on here, because I think that's a huge staple of what you're trying to do, make it as a band and pave the way for others to come up. So go, folks. If you have the opportunity and you want, and I'm just saying, if you want to, that's totally up to you and that's your choice. Go. I drove 5.5 hours to go see Danzig live, and I'll do it again. So
definitely. And I would love to add this. It's just like, nobody's aging backwards. Everyone is getting older.
Yeah.
And there's no, again, it's not even about the pandemics or if there's nothing that's going to happen. No, life happens.
Exactly.
It could be anything. And then it could be personal. It could be, you know, like, it could be a death because of age. It could be a disease. It could be an illness. You don't know what's going to happen next. So technically what we need to do is just enjoy as much as we can what we have. Because we have nothing, we cannot take anything for granted because we don't know what's going to happen the next day. And you don't know what's going to happen. So that's how I see it. If you go to a show, you got to enjoy as much as you can. You can try to make as much as you can out of something it could be the last thing that you can see. It could be the last show that person or that group of person are going to play because, I mean, again, life, it could be they can break up tomorrow. They can, you know, somebody could pass out or pass away, and that's going to be it. And then it would change the energy. So every time that you go to a live event and every time that you go to a show, it's something unique. It doesn't matter if you've seen the same band 900 times or 3 or 4 or 5 or 1. It's going to be always a different experience every time that you see somebody live, because it's because you're in the spot, and then you're interchanging energies, and then you're making a brand new experience, and then that's something unique. That's something you're gonna carry with you till your last day, and that's what matters, at least to me.
Yeah, and I got to see. Thank God I got to see Pantera.
There you go.
When they were Pantera, the mighty Pantera. I mean, just to kick you in the balls and take your wallet and go. I mean, these guys, you know, I got to see Vinny and Dime and Phil and Rex, the mighty Pantera. And then now to see them wanting to do, you know, Rex and Phil wanting to do a reunion, it should be a tribute. But maybe this is something that they can do and have closure with. Maybe this is something that they both need to do, you know. And I know that Vinny said in many interviews he did not want this to happen, but there's a lot of blessings that's coming down from this. But, you know, like I said, if this brings him closure, why not?
No, why not? I mean, again, it's just that it's about they were part of it too. I mean, Rex and Phil were part of it. They helped and they built the entire legacy together.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, of course, unfortunately, we cannot have Diamond and Vinny involved because they're not here with us. But at the same time, the way that I see it is going to be another different experience. You can say it's going to be the real one. It's not going to be the real one. It's fine. Everyone is entitled to their opinion. But at the same time, if you have the chance to see them, I would go. Yeah, definitely, because I would have loved to see them when they were, you know, like you did, but they were the 4 of them, you know, on their prime, doing the really, 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 really great shows that they used to do. And I didn't have the chance at the time. So I would do it at least just to see a reminiscence of what it was, or like I said, a new experience, just to see the guys that helped develop that legacy. This is that people, sometimes they get to, I mean, it's fine to be attached and involved in everything, but I mean, at the same time, you can't be so close-minded to some stuff. It's still art. You're still gonna see Phil. You're still gonna see Rex. You're still gonna see, and even at this time, it's gonna be Zach, and it's gonna be a Charlie, which is gonna be great. Also, there's gonna be you don't know how it's gonna be until you see it. Then you might not like it, you might love it, you might hate it. That's fine, but you're gonna be there, and you're gonna be the one that was living the experience live, so you can say, okay, I was there. Because again, we don't know what's gonna happen tomorrow. Because those guys are 82. Everyone is 80. We know what's going to happen. And then you would say, oh, fuck, I would have loved to see Phil for the last time doing all of Daryl said for whatever reason, you know? And that's something that they've been talking forever, just to do a reunion with Zach Wild, just to have him just do, you know, to fill in for Dime, you know, because he was the closest for whatever reason, right? But again, it was in the talks for a long time, so.
Sure.
Why not?
I want to throw these 3 bands out here for folks who gave up on them pretty much, who said, you know, certain members are gone, they're not going to make it. But these 3 bands, man, when you just put the new stuff in and listen to them, you really can't tell any difference. Like, take, for instance, Brian Johnson, who replaced Bon Scott and AC/DC. Not that much of a difference. That's one band. Second band, Rome was sublime. You throw him in there and you just close your eyes and go, wait, not much difference. You still hear Bradley and Noel. I feel like in his voice when he sings. So
Exactly.
not much difference. And then the biggest one of all, man, that threw me for a damn loop was William Duvall with Alice in Chains. That one really got me because I was like, oh shit, dude, he's on par. I love William's voice. He fits the Alice in Chains perfect, and I think Lane Staley would be happy with him being in the band.
Exactly, and there's many how's it called examples of that. You have also Sepultura with Derek. You had even Queen with Adam Lambert. It's never gonna be the same in terms of you're not gonna have the same guy, the same person, or the same feelings that you had whenever you saw your idol, right? In this case with Freddie, it's never gonna be the same, but it's not that bad.
No.
I mean, it's a different experience, and then you're still reminded of what Freddie did whenever you see and you hear those songs, and it's something that I believe that people are getting too. They're getting too square and too let's artsy whenever they're looking at songs and art. It's just like it's all about numbers. It's all about stuff that doesn't matter. I mean, it's always, to me, it's always about feelings. It's not about numbers. I don't care how many views or how many listens you had in whatever. You have to care about what it makes you feel whenever you listen to it. How you feel, how you react when you listen to that song. It's not about if other people like it or not. I don't give a flying fuck if anybody likes it or not. What I like, it's not about that. If they like it, fine. If they don't, fine. It's not gonna change because it's a personal experience. That's my point, and that's how everyone's saying, oh yeah, but because such and such and such would have done blah 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 blah. It's not about that. It's about
exactly.
You.
Right. Yeah. Everything is not everybody's cup of tea that I like. So, I understand that. And I'm glad everybody has their own choices. Like, I don't like pickles. A lot of people like pickles. I don't like pickles on my hamburger. So, all right, folks, you want to get out and pick up Zeistencroix's their new EP, of course, that's coming out with Cruix-Fixion. And you want to pick up Ice Queen as well. And I know I probably butchered the name as always, like I told you I would. But anyway, Orlando, how can folks stay in touch with Zeistencroix? Everything and anything under that name, touring, albums, CDs, everything, merch. How can they do that, sir?
That's all going to be easy. That's all going to be either on our social media. We have Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, even TikTok. But easier if you put the name on Google. If you put the name on Google, that's the best way to find everything that we're up to. And then we also have our website, which is zeistencroix.com, or it's even easier and better if you put cxband.com, and it's going to be straight.
See, he says it better than I do. Zeistencroix. I can't say it. I'm trying, folks. I'm trying.
Oh, it's all good. There's no right or wrong. There's no problem.
Before I let you go, good sir, would you care to do a promo from my show?
This is OD from Zeistencroix, and you're listening to BODS Mayhem Hour.
See, he says it much better than I do. So go ahead, laugh it up, folks. I'll screw it up. I try. I don't try. I try to say the name right. But anyway, you want to get out and pick up everything by Zeistencroix. Trust me, you won't be disappointed. This song, I went back and listened to some other stuff that's heavy, but when you listen to Ice Queen, it's really a different, like I said earlier, a breath of fresh air, because this is something new and scary for these guys to put this out there, like coming from a real heavy background, and then you got this kind of like a rock pop song. It's like, but they did a really good job at it. So kudos to you guys on this, man. First off, pick this up, folks. Again, pick this up, and please check out our Facebook page. It has our podcast link and our YouTube link. You definitely want to subscribe to that YouTube link, bodsmayhemhour.com, Bods Mayhem Hour. Click on that subscription and notification bell, because that will totally help me out tremendously. Like I said, pick up everything Zeistencroix. And I want to say this before I get off here. I am affiliated with Metal Inc., Forma Obscura, which is a online magazine who has obscure art, and they do metal reviews, and also Diary of the Madman, the Ultimate Ozzy Osbourne podcast with Dan and Josh. They know more about Ozzy Osbourne than Ozzy knows about himself. So, and Ozzy needs help because he's very forgiving.
Yeah.
So, all right, Orlando, thank you so much for doing this interview with me, man. I really appreciate it, and I wish you guys nothing but the best of luck, man.
Thank you for having us. We really, really, really love the time being here.
You're listening to BODS Mayhem Hour.
Follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.